Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Chaotic Sports Podcast. My name is Chris Sarda. Here's my co-host, Angelo Soboro. We have another co-host, Zachary Sarda, walking around here. You might hear him babble a little bit. You can find us
a little babbling
at Chaotic Sports on Twitter. Also at Chaotic Wagers if you want betting specific picks from Angelo on Twitter. And then at Chaotic Sports Media on Instagram, chaoticsports.com, all kinds of places. I was trying to
say that one. You're trying to forget about that one, but that's like a main.
Well, when I was posting on it more, then but people don't go to .coms anymore. They don't go to that.
You don't think so?
You go to ESPN, that's it.
Well, ESPN is .com, you know.
That's what I'm saying. But you don't go to like small .coms anymore.
They would go if there's good stuff on it.
You would go a lot less.
I mean,
people mostly look at their social media now. That's what they do. I would say that we should post more to the Facebook page than even to chaoticsports.com. I would say.
You have a Facebook?
There is a Facebook.
Chaotic
I just don't. Yeah, I don't.
Is there a Chaotic Sports in Instagram?
I just said
I'll make it right now.
I just said it, but it's at Chaotic Sports Media. Some loser has at Chaotic Sport. Well, he's not a loser. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he hasn't posted in like 5 years. He has 2 pictures up, but it's at Chaotic Sports.
And what is it called? Cease and
we'll send him a cease and desist.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, get off of that.
But it's at Chaotic Sports Media on Instagram. We've talked about this Instagram like 7 times now, and you act like you've never heard it. You go, do we have an Instagram?
No, I've never seen it.
We've literally.
Have I ever seen it?
No, yeah, you have.
I guarantee you I've never seen it.
We've talked about it like 7 times, dude. And every time you go, do we have an Instagram?
No, we have talked about it, but on anything, I've never seen it. So it's like a black hole. Like you say something, but I can't confirm.
Dude, the Instagram is literally, there's like a couple videos.
I've never been on Instagram.
There's a couple videos.
Like we should have.
There's a couple videos of me talking about the Dodgers against the Red Sox. That's how long it's been since I posted on it.
It'd be like just pictures or just short clips of highlights and stuff like that. And
well, not so much highlights. I erased the ones. So I had little minute conversations.
Sports media.
I had little minute conversations about the Dodgers versus the Red Sox in the World Series. That's like, the last World Series just passed. So it was more than a year.
So you're really slacking basically on that.
This is from a while. Of course it's recording.
Oh.
We're recording. Yeah, get out of here.
That's the lost episode.
Anyway.
Well, that's where they can not find us, is at Chaotic Sports Media.
Yeah, we have one. We just don't post to it that much. I mean, I got to post to them all, but
you're saying these days people want to see Facebook? I disagree.
No. I didn't say that they want to see Facebook. I said Facebook over the .com. People don't go to blogs, is what I'm telling you.
No, they go to apps. We need an app.
They do go to apps a little bit, but who's going to want to just do your app? You're a little bit disconnected from this stuff.
No, dude, they're not going to want to do our app unless it's unless it's a great podcast or something that they want to hear it. I mean, they're not going to do our app specifically, but I'm saying
they go to apps. Want. They go to iTunes apps to listen to the podcast. They go to Stitcher to listen to this podcast. They go to what is it? All the other Android podcast apps. So it's just a lot. I mean, you know that I don't only do the sports thing either. I do the comic book one. I do.
You do too much.
I do too much, and I probably wouldn't even do one right if I just did one. So instead, I just do like 3 things wrong.
Yeah.
Even if I had 1, I would be doing it wrong. But if I have 3,
you're going down the wrong path. Like your marriage is slowly breaking up right now because you're doing too much stuff.
I'm not doing it though. I do it.
You're right. You're doing.
I do the comic stuff a good amount. But that's just me.
That's your baby, Chaos and Comics.
Well, yeah, I'm alone on that one unless we're going to do a podcast on that after this.
I was trying to go on there every once in a while. It's been a while.
We're doing that, so that's okay. But that could be mostly me. Yeah. Chaotic Sports is pretty much you and me. Yeah. We've included Wayne here and there on the live streams. You didn't come on the last live stream. I sent you.
Nobody told me about it.
I sent you the link.
No, man, I'm never invited. You sent me a link when I was probably sleeping or something.
I know you were sleeping. I don't give a shit if you were sleeping.
Is the link going to wake me up?
No, don't tell me that I didn't invite you, though.
You invited me in the moment when I was sleeping. That's not an invite. An invite is telling you...
It's still an invite.
No, an invite is telling you, like, the night before we're going to do one at
11 we didn't know.
a.m.
We didn't know.
Yeah, but an invite's not in the moment.
Me and Wayne just decide.
Yeah, but that's not the way to do it.
It's still an invite. I don't care if you can't go there.
I'm just saying,
you're still invited.
No.
This says that you were invited because I sent it at 5:15 p.m.
That doesn't wake somebody up out of their sleep.
Well, I'm not trying to wake you up either, dude. I want you to sleep.
It's got to be a proper invite. That's like that's a stupid like doing something when you didn't invite somebody and you're acting like you invited them.
Listen, it doesn't work that. It doesn't work that way where I can tell you the day before. It doesn't work that way.
It's got to work that way if I'm going to get on it.
Well, dude, I'm not dying for you to be on it either. I'm not dying for you to be on it.
My point is, I'm not going to be on it if I don't know about it. Okay. In the moment, let's
make it official. The live stream then is me.
Well, in the moment, that's fine. Because in the moment, it has to be good circumstances for me to be on it.
I'm not sad that you didn't make it, dude. I'm just saying you're invited at any time.
I'm saying that's not a proper invite.
Wayne. It's still an invite. I don't care. I'm not going by your rules on being proper.
Not a proper invite.
But Wayne is funny though because you and I know that we can, if we wanted to talk for an hour on one topic, we could do it easy. And we try to do like 3, and we cut them short if we need to get 3. And Wayne, he was like, "What are the topics?" I gave him topics for MMA. I gave him topics for NFL, etc. I was like, "We're gonna talk." He's all, "Do you have any more?" I was like, dude, we'll probably go an hour just on MMA. And we did. We went an hour just on UFC 244 and didn't even get to football last week, which sort of sucks because I want the Wayne show to be like a football review show. Yeah. That's what I prefer it to be. Yeah. Just so I know we'll get into the details of each game because you and I don't necessarily do that. We just talk. We crack stuff back and forth, So we'll see about that. And then also with Wayne, something I'll do on a different channel, not Chaotic Sports, is we'll start doing, and you're also invited to this if you want to show up. If you can, is a movie review, but like where I've watched 1 or 2 trailers with you. Yeah. But on the live stream, we can actually show the trailer on the screen. So I'll do Wayne. We'll just react to like 5 trailers, illegal? 6 trailers, huh?
Isn't that illegal?
Not that illegal.
I said not that illegal.
I see other people do it, so let's see.
And you're like, hey, jump off.
It's the trailer, though. It's like showing a commercial. So it's not like I'm showing the movie. I'm showing the commercial for them. Yeah, and it's only good for them.
So you're just, and you're not doing you're not like breaking, what is it called? Like
spoilers?
Yeah, you're not like spoiling because it's a trailer that anybody could have saw.
Yeah, I'll literally be putting a channel from YouTube, one of the trailers that are on YouTube, and we'll just react to those for an hour. Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff, dude.
That'll be a good show.
We're talking about watching sports movies or on Chaos and Comics. It could be just regular movies.
You and I are going to do,
but there's a lot of stuff there's too much stuff we're talking about. Basically, you got to just do it.
Yeah, as we do it, I'll say it. But these are the plans. Like you and I will do a Mandalorian show. On Chaos and Comics, and then I think we'll do what I want to do on this show is we do a lot of sports talk, and it's all very current. The problem is that you got to throw away the episode. In a few days, this episode will be old, and we're going to talk about week 7. And I want to talk about current event in sports. Yeah. But we wanted to go watch The Inside Man, but it's not playing anywhere in Vegas anymore. But we wanted to go watch that, so. We'll do it because you and I.
Maybe it's at the Dollar Theater.
Huh?
Maybe it's at the Dollar.
No, I looked.
It's just gone.
It wasn't that big of a release. Oh. So, and you and I have known this is a funny thing about you and I. We've known each other for more than 15 years, more than a decade and a half. We've only gone to the movies a couple times, right?
You think so?
Yeah, just a handful of times.
I mean, there's probably you're right.
So, dude, there are plenty of sports movies. Let's watch them. You know what the next biggest sports movie coming out, you probably don't even think it's a sport, is the Ford versus Ferrari movie. Oh, yeah. So let's go watch that. And we'll do a review on Chaotic Sports.
I mean, that's a sport. I mean, it's like it's one of those peeing in your pants kind of sports. I mean, you just...
Wayne and me, listen, I'm not a big auto racing fan, but Wade and me did have an argument one time about it being a sport. I was like, well, whatever, dude. It's at least a competitive science.
No, I'll call it a sport. Yeah, it's a sport.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll call it a sport.
It's I enjoyed it. Like back in the day, I saw like a Crazy Eights and all this mud racing and stuff.
That's what my grandfather did. That's why he came to the United
Speedway,
States.
But it was the Speedway before the Speedway.
Oh, when it was just mud.
Yeah, well, it was a little mini stadium. Like it was like.
That's why my grandfather came to this country, was to do that stuff at Ascot in L.A.
Oh, okay, really
similar place. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that whole thing. I don't like watching like NASCAR. 500 laps on TV, but I could watch a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I get it. I just don't have that much time. It's the same reason I make fun of college sports. The same reason I watch college sports. It's like I got NFL. Yeah, if I was going to make time for college football, basketball, baseball, I'd rather make time for rugby. Yeah, or all these other sports I like that I don't watch. And that's the way I feel about auto racing. before I watch auto racing, I'm going to watch more rugby. I like rugby. I just don't ever watch it,
Because you don't. I mean, you only have limited time.
Yeah, you only have limited time. Plus I'm a nerd.
You have
watching movies.
Stuff, yeah.
But I think we're going to do that on this show too. Is we'll find the sports movies and give reviews on those here. We'll do the current event stuff too. We didn't even talk about the World Series.
We talked a little bit about it in the moment. Maybe we didn't talk about the last game or something, but we were talking about up to it.
Yeah, and to be honest, you and I could do live streams. Like, you don't feel like getting out? We should just throw up the live stream on YouTube because we need to be more current, a little bit more betting news.
Well, the reason why
I want to check your bets.
They're on there.
I'm going to call them out, though. I mean, the good ones and the bad ones.
No, but you could check them. They're
no, I understand. I can check them.
Refreshed every day.
I mean, in a podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
What the hell was I saying, man? You're making me forget this thing.
Yeah.
You were talking about. We were talking about the shows.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about this for a year.
What?
About if we miss a show or two, we should just do like a stream it or something if we can't in last resort. But it wouldn't be a podcast no more. But it would still be cool.
Yeah, I mean, and it's easier to stream. Yeah, they wouldn't be on the. Well, eventually, if we do it enough, we'll do it on the podcast feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning, it wouldn't be on the podcast feed, but yeah, if we're doing it a bunch, I'll figure out how to make it a podcast too. I mean, that shouldn't be that hard to live stream and turn it to an audio feed. I just haven't done it yet, so we'll throw those up as podcasts too. Doesn't matter to me. Just I just want to put stuff out.
You wouldn't even have to turn it into one. It would be like it would be a live feed that's also being recorded as a podcast.
So it needs to be turned in as one because when I do it on YouTube, it won't go on to like iTunes automatically and stuff. I can do this, upload it, and then it'll go on to iTunes without video, right? But not. There's probably a way the other way around. I haven't looked into it, so we could do that too. So, but anyway, man, it's still I feel like I say this every year, but it's still a crazy year for football.
Well, that's the NFL for it.
Yeah, it just always is, and at least I'm going to say this. At least this week, and I'm sure there were some bad calls, but at least this week it isn't the news. I don't feel like the main news was horrible calls, even though there were some, like even in the Packer game. That's the only game I watched beginning to end. And, almost beginning to end because I was on a comic live stream on my friend's channel. But I watched it almost beginning to end. And there were bad calls, but it wasn't like this decisive call. So that's the good news, is that the refs aren't the news. But I
mean, that's what we want. We're gonna every team's gonna have, or every fan's gonna have, like, there's gonna be a call that they're mad about. But that's gonna happen in every game in every sport.
Yeah,
there's going to be that guy was offsides. There was
but it wasn't like that decisive call with 1 minute left this week. At least not that I can remember.
On a DB or wide receiver, you can call like every play.
Yeah. So that's the good news. The other good news is that, man, it's actually just as confusing. The NFC, it feels like, I like this subject. It feels like every week the main topic is who's actually the best in the NFC. Last week, I think we both agreed, we still like the Seahawks, but I think we both agreed it was still the Saints with Drew Brees healthy. But you can't say that this week.
Possibly. I mean, I liked Seahawks before their recent win.
No. We all did. It was always the three of them. There's three teams that were obvious, and the Packers a week ago.
But now people are going to be saying Seahawks all of a sudden.
You have to say Seahawks now, right? Because the Packers are
but
one week out of a bad win.
They were playing the last few weeks. I mean, they look like this team, they're rising. So it was like, I was like the Seahawks before that.
I mean, to me, they look like they're just the most consistent. Because to tell you the truth, I think if the Packers are playing at their height or the Saints are playing at their height, their ceiling, I think they both can play at a higher ceiling than the Seahawks. But the Seahawks are just making a line right through it. You know what I mean? They've lost to the Ravens, which in my opinion, I know the Ravens are one of the better teams in the AFC, but you still shouldn't do.
Well, it's like, I mean, Lamar Jackson's probably going to win the MVP.
I mean, I still think Russell Wilson's the MVP.
He's one of them. I mean,
so here's what I'll do. We could even talk about them too right now. Here's what I'll do for that, is that it's the same thing. Like Lamar Jackson has had higher highs, but Russell Wilson has been playing really well every single game.
He never goes low.
Yeah, I mean, he's always, I think his quarterback rating ended being like 86, but for most of the game it was like 114, and he's just always going to have like around a 90 quarterback rating. Where Lamar Jackson, he's had some duds, week like 3, 4, and he's also playing a lot easier teams. He's playing easy ass teams.
A couple more weeks, he's going to have a crappy game, or he's going to get injured.
Or the injuries are just looming for that kind of player.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen like week 13, whatever. Lamar Jackson breaks his leg or just some stupid thing. I mean,
and you keep playing like that.
Yeah, I don't want it to happen, but I just have a feeling he's going to have like a 4-interception game, and they're going to get killed, or he's going to die on the field or something something major is going to happen.
Yeah, he's going to make the decision not to slide, and some middle linebacker is going to take his head off at full speed. And I mean that's the danger with the running quarterbacks, right? But to be honest, Lamar Jackson has. To me, he's looking good at the choices. Like, he actually looks not like the best pocket passer on there, but he's actually sort of playing smart, but also not forgetting his roots sort of thing.
Yeah, he has like 1,000 yards rushing. He's like...
I was going crazy.
Yeah, he's like the number 6 leading rusher in the NFL right now or something crazy.
I feel bad for Ingram owners because Ingram should be a great running back on another team. He should be one of the better running backs.
But he's kind of not known right now?
Well, I mean, for fantasy-wise, when you have your quarterback can also run, you're going to get fewer touches in the end.
Because like a year or two ago, he was like dominating like fantasy, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was crazy when he was on the Saints because him and Kamara were actually. Kamara was obviously catching passes.
Yeah.
But him and Kamara, he was still a good running back, RB2.
And I haven't heard nothing about him this year because you're right, because of Jackson's taking all the runs out of it.
And his per touch stats, we'd have to look at them, but I think they're still pretty good. It's not like he's a sucky running back; he just doesn't get enough touches right now.
Yeah.
Because the other thing too with Lamar Jackson, I mean, some of those plays are designed runs. It's not like an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. No, Mike Vick was designed runs.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson can run, but they're not designed.
I think Mike Vick a lot at the beginning was just happening.
Designed.
I think it was just happening.
Oh.
Like, he was just so athletic. Because this was before you wanted to have that running quarterback.
Well, you still don't really.
Yeah.
Michael Vick sort of.
But I'm saying he was just so good and that athletic that he just made it happen. I don't even think some of them was designed. It was just like...
I mean, I think it was like one of the checkdowns for Mike Vick. So I could still say it's designed. You just know he could go do it. And I think that's the same way with Lamar Jackson. But some of those plays are designed for him to run like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, they have running skill. Maybe not Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, but they are just able to do it if they need to, In fact, I don't think Aaron Rodgers had a designed run play, maybe a quarterback sneak. But I don't think he's had a designed run play in years. In fact, sometimes I think he's going to run.
Well, he might have one every few games, just like a...
Sometimes I think... Yeah, and with Lamar Jackson's plays, some of those running... excuse me. Some of those running plays being designed, and also when they break down, like Michael Vick use more of a check down sometimes... it just opens up to being hurt. So, he's in the MVP race, but he's had some bad games too, and it's almost like Aaron Rodgers. It's like sometimes you're like, that guy's untouchable. And the funny thing about Rodgers too is that some of his stats are lower, but he's marching this team down into the red zone, and Aaron Jones is getting a lot of those touchdowns, which I think is awesome because I just want to win a Super Bowl. And Aaron Rodgers is not the kind of player to worry.
So with their defense, you think they can win a Super Bowl this year? For sure, right?
It hasn't played that well, to be honest. It's been back and forth. Very, you know what I see their defense as is they give up a lot of yards, and then when you're in the red zone, and this hasn't been true lately, but when you're in the red zone, then you can make either a stop and make them take 3 or have some kind of turnover. But the defense is weird,
jump on a ball or something.
Yeah, or it's more the Smiths, Preston Smiths, and Ladarius, and.
Well, I know Martinez is leading the fantasy-wise, like defenders and points. Like he's having a great season.
Yeah, well, I mean he's a tackle machine, but that's because they actually let a lot of stuff happen in the middle of the field, right?
Yeah.
So I mean that just means he has more opportunity to tackle, but he's all over the place.
Yeah.
But the Smith, they're not even brothers, but they call them the Smith brothers. And they're not really brothers, but Preston Smith and I forget the other one's first name, the linebacker. They're getting a lot, especially in this Panthers
Preston's
game.
On the D line, though, right?
On the D line, and then the other linebacker is I think it's Ladarius Smith, but I don't want to screw up the name.
Yeah,
forget his first name. But they're getting a lot of sacks on like third down. Like they're putting a lot of pressure on third down. Which I think sacks are overrated, but if you're gonna get a sack, you get it on the third down. That's when they're the best.
Get your team the ball back, right?
Yeah, that means you get your team the ball back, right? I mean, I think sacks are a little overrated.
Well, I mean...
They're like the equivalent of a penalty.
Or if you get them on first down, it's just like the quarterback threw it out of bounds.
Yeah.
I mean, depending if it's for loss.
I mean, to me, a sack is like the equivalent of a penalty. So if you get a bunch of them, then okay, that's great. Like if you get to the quarterback 5, 6, 7 times in a game, which some of these are doing, some of these lines are doing, but it's like people make a big deal about sacks.
Well, the only reason why, like, if you're getting to them like 6, 7, 8 times a game,
then that's like 6, 7 penalties.
Well, I also say, but the only good thing is you're getting in the quarterback's head now, and that's going to serve you well, like later in the game, maybe.
Yeah, but so do hurries and hits that don't result in penalties. If you get a hurry, that's the same thing, right? You're getting into their head. I mean, Aaron Rodgers gets hurried all the time. I mean, if they
sack hurts more than hurries, and probably gets in their head a little more.
Yeah, that's true. But if you're hurrying, that means also like nothing's developing in time, and you think you need to throw it faster, and you can make mistakes happen. If hurries were counted right, Aaron Rodgers would have one of the most because the receivers are not actually that good.
You'd rather have 2 interceptions in a game than 5 sacks, probably.
Yeah, or maybe that's about even. 5 sacks. I mean, it depends what happens with the interceptions, right? You change possessions.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to talk about one thing about the Ravens.
Yeah, let's go.
Because before we go off, you know how, like, did you see that they were talking about they had 3 Heisman Trophy winners in the same backfield on a play?
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Who was it?
So they have 3 Heisman winners, obviously. They have 3 Heisman winners on there, or at least 3 on their roster.
But they suck?
No, I'm just saying, if they had 3 on one play, they at least have 3 on their roster, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way around that. No, they don't suck. That's 3 pretty damn good players, and it's only happened like 4 other times in NFL history.
Do you remember their names? I know you remembered it.
No, these. Well, I don't remember like everyone in history.
No, these 3.
I know these 3, and I know another 3. That's it.
Well, name these 3 because I don't.
Well, you know
I'm
these
not
ones.
The best Heisman.
Lamar
guy.
Jackson.
Okay.
He won at Louisville. Ingram for Alabama, and then Robert Griffin.
Oh, Robert Griffin was a Heisman. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So both Robert Griffin and RG3 were on the field.
They did a double. So they were doing Ingram, Jackson, and Robert Griffin. They were doing they were on the backfield doing like an option play, double option, or something.
Wildcat stuff.
Yeah. So that was just kind of interesting because that's one of the only times ever. And I know there's like something in like the 50s, 60s, but there was one that happened in 89, 90, and 91. All the same team.
All the same players?
Yeah. Can you have any idea?
Well, tell me the team so maybe I can guess.
California team.
The Niners?
No.
The Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh, so Tim Brown.
Yep.
Marcus Allen?
Yes.
And Bo Jackson?
Yep.
Oh, so that happened every game.
Yeah, I mean...
that was 3 years straight.
Yeah, 3 years straight. So that's before that, maybe one other time ever, and that's it. And
that's sad because that was a lot easier. Something from when I was 6 years old would have been a lot easier for me to say than the one that just happened. Because RG3, I don't even remember that he was a pro.
You forgot he was pro?
No, I mean I've seen him come in all time. He's come in a few times this year.
I mean he still can make something happen. Yeah. It's just that
he's actually the perfect backup for Lamar Jackson, especially when you need him to come in because like we said, maybe he doesn't get injured, Lamar Jackson, but he could get shook up, and he has a couple times. And RG3 actually has come into a couple games,
and he could just kind of do almost what Lamar Jackson's doing, not maybe as good, but he's the runner. In college, man, he was running all over the place. He just kind of got.
He also got those injuries. He had too many injuries too, and he never got good at throwing in the pocket. So I mean, he's still in the league. I feel bad for him because he seems like a really good guy. Like RG3, he seems like a legit person.
Well, I mean, he has a nice family. He's making good money. I mean, I don't feel too bad for him. He's still in the league.
Too, yeah.
He's still in the league. I mean,
people are paying $1,000 for sideline seats. RG3 gets hold of clipboard for free.
Yeah, he's like they say the best job in baseball is the backup catcher. As far as you're just chilling doing nothing.
I mean being a catcher in general, getting balls thrown at you at 100 miles.
Backup catcher.
No, I'm just saying. But even then, because most backup catchers still play a lot, you're still getting balls thrown at you 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, but usually you're not playing.
I'm going to tell you the best job in baseball is the
relief
the utility player. No, relief you got to work every day. The utility player, he gets an at bat, so he gets to go out there and play a little bit.
I mean, I'd rather be playing, but as far as the easy job for the money is not doing nothing.
Yeah, I would say the utility player, and then he also gets to play a bunch of different positions. The really good utility player is the guy that never starts, but in fantasy he has 6.
Yeah.
Like Emilio Bonifacio.
Actually, that would be fun. Because you get it, you
play a little second base, you play a little shortstop, you play a little right field.
You get to break up with monotony, so it actually would be cool. You're playing all There's a player that played like every position, I think, sometimes. Or almost every position on the field.
It would be crazy if there was a player.
The same
I wonder
game.
which player, I mean, obviously Yahoo and ESPN has different rules. I wonder if there's a player which player has the most position eligibility?
Ever?
Well, no, just in any one year. Like this year, who had the most position eligibility?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, because there's guys with like 5.
Yeah.
And it's always that utility player. Because all you need is 5, not even starts. You just need 5 appearances at a position.
Yeah.
And then in our league, we don't play with just outfield. We play with left field, right field, center field.
Yeah.
So there's only a couple guys have all 3 of those too.
So the most is like 5 or 6 spots, right? And there's probably a few players that has it. I can't think of it right now, but there's a
I mean,
few.
I could think of like not Renfroe. I mean, it's the guy you pick up in fantasy for like a day, and then you drop him again.
He's not good enough to. Yeah, you might not have him on your roster the whole season. But it's a good guy because you could plug him in when other guys are hurt or their days off.
That's when you pick him up, is when they're hurt. And it's like the third baseman's hurt. He's going to play third base, but you pick up him in fantasy to play second base.
Yeah.
Because he's going to play every day.
And then he also has outfield eligibility. So you could put him in.
It's like he's got some opinions.
Well, he heard the baseball talk. We see, I like how we just randomly went to baseball. We just did a curveball. Like
this is not a current events one because we'll talk basketball too. Let's just talk sports like we normally do.
We went off course right now, but that's okay. So I think he enjoys that. That's why the babbling just started up big time.
Yeah,
he's like, "You talking about baseball? That's my sport."
Well, I mean, he's only one. He was like 16, 15 months. So it's when he first started realizing the TV and it was baseball that was on in the summer when he was 15, 16 months. Now he's like 18, 19 months. So baseball. That was my sport when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I grew into football and basketball later, but baseball was my first favorite sport. If you don't count wrestling, you count wrestling as your favorite.
You're talking like WWE back in the day?
Yeah, WWF back in our day.
Yeah. WW. What was it? WCW.
WCW also.
Yeah.
But WWF mostly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that. I would say baseball or WWF.
No, that's a sport. It's a sport. Come on, don't tell a kid of our age that that's not a sport. Those are fighting words, right?
It's like.
It's
you know what? It's equivalent. It's not because It's not because it's staged.
It's still a sport. They're athletic. They're making stuff
happen.
They're
super athletic. They're athletes.
It's a sport. You're making stuff. I mean, it's not.
They call it sports entertainment.
I mean, every sport's entertainment.
I know. That's why it's weird. I don't call WWF a sport, but I call them athletes.
Let's you call NASCAR a sport.
It's competition. I think it's more competition. Altered, I think it's more the competition side. Right?
Okay. Well, is golf a sport?
There's competition there, and there's a physical aspect because those golfers aren't allowed to use the golf carts, and they're not getting drunk. They're like walking equal.
No,
I mean,
dude, that doesn't take athleticism to walk.
Well, no. The walking part doesn't.
Good hits,
when you're there for 18 holes, it's almost like poker. Can you have the same level of skill and perfect swing
too, right?
mentally when you've been out?
Yeah, I think it's a sport. It's hard as hell.
So, you know what I mean? It's a sport. I mean, to me, this is what I'll tell you, and people hate me for this. And auto racing is on a different thing, but golf and like pool and like frisbee, those are sports 100%. I just consider them lesser sports. Do you know why?
I mean, that's a good call.
Defense. No defense.
I mean,
no defense or very little.
There's defense in pool.
Yeah, very little though.
I was about to say, there's
put the ball
defense,
in the
right?
way. Yeah. So but there's defense in chess and poker. Is that a sport? That's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they're lesser sports. If there's Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, there's video of them like hitting 50 yards, in a hole, as big as your hands can make. But what makes it a sport, what makes football a sport more than in throwing it through a hole in golf or in that, is that Julius Peppers is chasing you, and you got to figure it out, and you got to make the strategy. You could just play. You could call it a sport for who can throw the fastest, a baseball the fastest. That would be a sport. But what makes it a real sport is that you got Aaron Judge trying to knock it out of the stadium on the other side.
Well, the other guy's trying to throw it right by him at 100 miles an hour.
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it a sport to me.
Or that makes it a funner sport to watch.
Yeah.
Now, I want to name another
higher sport.
Yeah, I want to name another sport that has zero defense.
Okay.
And it's like a geeky sport, but I still think it's awesome.
But am I going to call it a lesser sport?
I don't know. I just love this my whole life. You're definitely going to call it a lesser sport.
Okay,
but it's like zero defense. But this is one like, okay, we were talking pool has a little defense. It's different. Bowling, there's zero defense in bowling.
Yeah, zero defense.
Zero.
Yeah.
But I still think of that as
we were bowling the other day. I don't like bowling.
You know, like bowling. Bowling's pretty fun.
You know, if I watch The Big Lebowski or I watch Kingpins, I'm ready to bowl then. Like, I get excited for Kingpin and Big Lebowski. Those two movies make me excited. And if I watch both of them the same night, I'll want to bowl every night for 2 weeks. But we bowled the other day. It's okay.
Well, you were just bowling for the love of the game the other day. You should have been bowling for some bets. You should have had a little friendly wagers, and it would have made you...
So bowling is a lot like golf. I've associated it with drinking.
Okay.
Right? So, like, okay, now it's just a fun game to play while you drink. So I don't think I can ever get really good at either one of those.
So you
and I don't want to either because they're lesser sports.
Yeah, but you got worse and worse.
Huh?
I mean, bowling isn't bowling at 300 pretty hard?
Yeah, it's very hard.
It's possible. I mean, obviously people do it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, I've hit 4 strikes in a row. It's not easy. You know what I mean?
I've hit something like that.
It's hard.
Yeah, I mean bowling too. I don't know why we haven't bowled more either. You and I then.
No, bowling's fun.
I've known you for a decade and a half, and we've only. I think maybe I bowled with you once or twice before. I didn't even know you were a bowling fan.
Dude, of course I like bowling, man. I have, let me try to think. I've been bowling.
I didn't know you were bowling.
I've been bowling for like 35 years.
Did you? Do you have bowling gloves?
No.
Do you have your own bowling ball?
Yes.
You do have your own
bowling ball. And see, I originally bowled.
I think you brought it before.
I originally bowled with my grandpa, my sister back in the day. Like, we used to go bowling like weekly for like years. Well, I was like a bowling prodigy basically when I was like 6, 7 years old. Because we used to go so much.
One of the things and most cities don't have this.
Yeah.
But one of the things that made me like bowling is when I moved to Vegas.
Yeah,
what does Vegas have in the world of bowling that most cities don't? That's cheap midnight bowling.
I was going to say also multiple bowling alleys, like as in like 10. No,
yeah,
most cities have like
big
1, 2.
No, big cities will have like 10. But we have them in the casinos, which means they're open all night, which means there's midnight bowling, which costs like $1.
Yeah, and there's
something crazy.
Disco bowling and freaking...
That's terrible.
What's the other one? In the black light, like crazy. Cosmic bowling.
Same stuff.
No, I'm just saying they have like all kinds of stuff.
But the best thing about it was everyone has cosmic bowling. Yeah. The best thing about it was is the midnight. Most bowling alleys in like Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Decatur, Illinois, they're not open at midnight.
Yeah.
And if they were open at midnight, they wouldn't be dollar games. So.
Yeah. So growing up here is probably why I bowled a lot when you're younger, just because it's around.
Yeah.
It's at the casinos, go to breakfast, bowl, whatever. It's right down the street. Bowling was big at Arizona Charlie's, Santa Fe. I'm trying to think where else. You know Arizona Charlie's had a bowling alley.
Right? Yeah. No one wants to just hear you list casinos.
No, I'm just saying. A lot of people know Vegas. There's hundreds of people right now.
No one knows. No one goes to Arizona Charlie's that visits here. Barely. That's not a visit. That's a local casino.
Yeah, but they know what it is. They know what Santa Fe is.
No, they don't.
They don't know what Station Casino is.
No. Well, people in Vegas. People in Vegas barely know Santa Fe. Santa Fe is not a very known casino.
No, I'm trying to think of the other ones. Well, it doesn't matter what it is, but I'm just trying to reminisce.
Yeah.
There was another one by Farmar on Decatur, like the old school one that I'm trying to think of. Decatur and Charleston. Do you remember that one?
No, dude. I don't care about it.
Oh, anyway. Okay, you're not a bowler. You don't want to talk about it. Never mind.
Yeah. I'll go bowling with you, though.
Yeah.
I'll get beers and go bowling. I don't care. Just sit there and bowl. Especially if we're going to go to one of these sports movies we're going to record. We'll do bowling, and then we'll do the review of the movie, and then talk about me beating you at bowling.
Talk about your horrible...
Yeah.
To get you to like bowling, like I'm surprised you didn't like it. Like you were bowling with your friends and wife and stuff.
The other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't have fun.
Here's the other thing too. If I'm having beers and I'm like socializing, like I'm a competitive guy, so automatically if I'm playing a game I want to win, and if I'm gonna win I want to be in my top shape, which is I know like 1 or 2 beers won't do anything, but I don't even want to do that. I would never go drink and play basketball with somebody, because I want to play. Like I just have that mentality, and so these games that I associate with drinking, it's like I want to be able to do them for 5 minutes and then stop if I want, you know. And like bowling, people want to finish 2 games. I get so tired. I just want to sit and talk to you guys.
Yeah.
For me, like I just want to sit. I talk to you all the time.
Yeah.
And text you all the time. But like we went with like Ghosh's work friends who I like, and we hang out and
Or
stuff.
you talking about fantasy football and stuff?
I'd rather us just sit in a circle and talk.
Wow.
But I did bowl, and it was fun. It was cool. It's not like I hate it either.
Yeah.
But it's like you just, when you're having beers, it's just like, oh, I got to go do something. I just want to sit here.
But is that how you classify what a sport is and what not a sport is? Can you do it drinking a handful of beers?
I can do any sport.
Well. No, I do it well. So like bowling, pool, you associate that with drinking. Not everybody, but I'm saying you could bowl at a high rate and drink a lot of beer. I think you could play pool. That's a drinking game. You could be very good at pool and be like the dude's hustling people, and he's on his 8th beer.
No, the hustler. The hustler's waiting for you.
Well, I'm saying you could.
The hustler's waiting for someone like you to be on his 5th beer that thinks it doesn't affect him.
Trust me, the good pool player can be very good on multiple beers. Now, if you're trying to play like baseball, if you're on 8 beers, you're not going to hit that ball. Trust me. So think about that. You're
not going to run as fast.
That's how you go. That's the definition of what a sport is or what not a sport is.
Yeah.
It's like, can you do it
on 8 beers? Yeah.
No,
because soccer, maybe you could control the ball, but you definitely can't run that much.
You can't run the rest, and you can't control the ball. You'd be falling all over the place.
For me, I know that I can't play a sport when I know like the way I run. I'm running a little bit slower.
Yeah.
I don't have like as quick a reflexes, and I know that. I could tell. Even though I could probably play as good as a lot of people, I could tell after 2 or 3 beers, to be honest.
Yeah.
And even though I could still play fine on those, I could be like, oh, like there's half a step gone.
Yeah.
I could tell even the littlest amount, because a lot of my playing is just being the hardest worker also, right? Like going after the ball, chasing it. And even if I have 3 beers, I'm like,
yeah.
Even if you haven't played if we went to play basketball right now, I would lose wind quickly. But I also know that I can fight through it because I'm not drunk or anything. I know that's just I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
But if I have a bunch of beers in me, I'm like, ugh. I can feel it in my muscles. I move slower, so.
And I just thought about NASCAR. That's definitely a sport now. You can't do that. You can't do that on 8 beers, right?
So by your definition, NASCAR now is a sport.
I didn't think it wasn't a sport, but now it's definitely a sport.
Yeah, that's a great definition. I'm going to tell that to Wayne, who tries to say NASCAR is not. Because Angela's definition is if you could do it and be okay on 8 beers, then it's not a sport. So pool. So that means pool, bowling is gone, darts is gone. Because people play good-ass darts.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
On like 4 or 5 beers,
I mean, it takes talent, but it's not a hardcore sport.
Yeah, and if you were playing at a super high level, you probably wouldn't drink. If you were playing like in the pool World Series, you probably wouldn't have a beer.
No, they're not on ESPN.
But you could.
That's what I mean. You could. The good players could still be very good.
You could.
Pounding.
Yeah, the only drug. So there's only 2 drugs you can do in a real sport, and it's still a real sport. That's like methamphetamines, like Adderall and stuff, and steroids, because those just make you better at the sport. Just gonna make you die sooner.
What do you mean you can do it? Like not legally?
Not legally.
But you're saying you can.
Like you can't do heroin and play baseball or football, but you can do. That's why they do them: amphetamines and steroids.
No, what do you mean you can't? Like you can't physically do it? It's not allowed. It's illegal. You could do it you could do it and play, but you might die on the field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It is illegal. I know it's illegal. But like there are certain drugs, the downers, you can't do and play football. So alcohol is one, heroin,
this just got serious. He's talking about heroin.
Yeah. But then there are the drugs that you can do with sports, and they're actually performance enhancing. This is also the reason why a marijuana you shouldn't get suspended for doing marijuana and MMA. That's not going to help anyone.
No, but
you shouldn't be tested for marijuana and get suspended.
I mean, it's legal to some places, but it's not performance enhancing. But on some sports, it could enhance your performance, if that makes any sense at all.
I mean, what you said doesn't. The second part made sense, but saying them both doesn't make any sense.
So the person with not a wide mind would think that doesn't make sense. At least you can understand what I said. To some people, doing that for a certain sport might calm them down.
Like nervousness.
Yeah, it actually would enhance their performance.
Well, the idea then is but then that you could say the same thing about one beer for like a closer. Let's say you're closing.
Well,
bottom of the ninth in Game 7.
But it wasn't like 8 beers like we were talking.
Okay, but then there's too much marijuana then too.
I mean, didn't David Wells say he used to smoke cigarettes and like drink?
If you smoked a giant blunt and then went out and tried to close the game in the 9th inning in a tense situation, you're not going to throw your 100 miles an hour. You're saying if you just took a puff or two, then it would enhance your game because it might calm you down.
I'm saying it
just
possibly
like one
could.
beer.
It possibly could. To
just
a certain
like one beer.
To certain people as well.
But just like one beer could possibly calm you down.
Yeah, but we were talking 8 for the definition of sport.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
So then the equivalent is 8 beers and like a blunt.
Or whatever.
Whatever it is. There's too much, yeah.
Yeah, there's too much. We're going off. We're going off the rails
the
here.
Drug show.
Yeah, this is like.
Well, let's transition from drugs to the NBA.
Yeah, this is. I mean, and speaking of drugs, let's talk about Dion Waiters.
Go ahead.
No, I don't want to talk about that. I'm just saying. You know what happened with him, right?
Just say.
No,
don't ask people what happened. Like you got to.
No, you know what happened though.
I do, but don't. This
I don't
is
want
like
to talk
podcast.
about it. Okay, but I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, we already talked about it.
I hate
stuff.
podcasts where people.
But that was a good transition.
Podcasts where we just start quoting or
quizzing. But that was a good transition because it's like you were like, let's not talk about drugs. Let's talk about the NBA. That's all. That's
it. Just goes right in there. Yeah, goes right in there. So if you guys were following the Twitter feed, what's funny is that it was 3 Twitter accounts that you and I, or at least 2 of them, you and I controlled in my personal one. So if someone was following it, they don't know who's talking about what. But you were on Chaotic Wagers. I responded on my Twitter account, and then I responded again on Chaotic Sports, and then you responded on Chaotic Sports. It was just real weird. Nonetheless, what the thing was we were sure that the Pelicans and Rockets game was going to go over.
Yeah, the last time I responded, that was on accident, as far as on the wrong account.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
who gives a shit? People know who we are.
Yeah, they know.
Bunch of assholes. I mean, what you need to do is get your own Twitter account, and then we'll just confuse everyone with people saying this and that.
Oh, man. Screw it. Do my own thing. It'll be like 4 different accounts.
You got 3. You'd have control of 3 because you. I actually don't have control of Chaotic. You gave me the password for Chaotic Wagers.
Don't say it. Don't say it live.
Huh?
Don't say the password.
The password is. Yeah. Everyone can have it. It's the whole world could put on their own.
Everybody can control it. That's a good idea. Actually, it's like open up. I'm gonna open up an account.
An open Twitter account.
The whole world controls it. And then let's just see what happens.
You'll just have the email address, so if someone tries to change the password, we'll just go in and change it, and the whole world can still have it.
Yeah, that's just funny. Let the world talk.
Yeah, let the world talk, which is what Twitter is anyway, right? But anyway, that Rockets Pelicans game, we were both very sure. I thought it was very reasonable, although I do feel like whenever something is very sure, the game goes under.
I mean, we were pretty sure, but it was never a guarantee. Yeah, it was 8 out of 10. I mean, it was like. Yeah. Now I'm pretty damn sure the next time they play, because I was thinking 8 out of 10 go over.
Well, what's the over-under going to be?
So now it's 1 for 1. The next game?
Time was it 243?
Yeah, it's going to be around there. It's going to be. They even might hike it up a point or 2 to get you to bet the under, and then it's going to go way over.
We talked about it before we started recording. We were talking a little about this. We should have went and checked what the over/under was for the game that happened a week and a half ago.
You could still do that.
I mean, we can't. We're not going to do it sitting on the podcast. We should have had it ready for the podcast,
just to see what it was.
Yeah, because the over/under actually pretty much equaled what that game's total was.
I'm sure the over/under the first game was under what the second game was, but it went over.
Yeah, it did. I mean, the total from the game a week and a half ago was more or less equal to the over/under last night.
Yeah.
And then it went under.
And that's a crazy over/under, 245.5.
It's nuts. And like I told you, we were talking about it off air, but Harden actually, he's playing a team that actually has almost as big, a very similar pace, the Rockets and the Pelicans. The Rockets are just a winning team, the Pelicans are not. But very similar pace. So Harden, they actually got ahead a little bit, and Harden... He's a smart guy. What can you say about him? He's actually smart. James Harden, you heard it here first, actually slightly slowed the pace down because they had a lead in the fourth quarter. And he still played great in the fourth quarter, but he brought out the running game.
So you saw that part of the game.
Yeah, and I read about it too, and I saw that he had a great fourth quarter. And so that pace, so it only went under, 2 points or 3 points?
No, it was like 4 or 5 points, but it was still...
But 4 or 5 points in a Rockets game or a Pelicans game is literally 35 seconds in game time.
Yeah.
And he actually slowed it down. So if the Pelicans, let's say the Pelicans didn't miss 3 shots at the end of the third quarter or something, then the pace would have kept up.
Yeah, they got down by just enough
that Harden slowed it. And I mean, dude, slowing it down. I'm not saying that he slowed it down to like a 1980s pace. I mean, he slowed it down to like a Steve Nash pace, which at the time was the fastest the fastest pace in the league in 2008. So, hey, you get some wrong, you get some right.
Yeah.
You know, normally that highest...
I didn't watch a second of the game because I refused to watch that kind of game, you know?
You know, we can start this conversation again. It's actually... I'm going to do the math, and I'll bring it up, and maybe that's a good article for me to write once I get possession statistics I like.
Yeah.
But if you're playing at a high pace, what if your defensive points per possession are lower than, you know, who's a big defensive team? Who's getting? I'm trying to think of low scoring teams right now. There's not a lot of them. There's a couple teams though.
Well, Clippers with Kawhi. They're not low scoring, but I'm just saying they're good defensively.
Yeah. So, but I'm trying to think of a low scoring team. But let's say even the Clippers then. Let's just say the Rockets. Let's say every game was 140 to 135, and then every Clippers game was 110 to 105. Let's say.
Yeah.
What if per possession the Rockets were giving up fewer points? Like the game is just faster when it's the Rockets.
So you're saying they're playing good D?
I'm not saying they are. I haven't done the stats yet. I want to look at it closer. But it's possible to have 140 games that are 140 points, but if there are 50 more possessions in the game, right? It's possible that way because that's the way the Rockets play. It's a D'Antoni offense. That's what they're going to do.
D'Antoni was a coach of the Suns.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And all D'Antoni does is have a guy. So Steve Nash, maybe it was slightly less because Steve Nash was facilitating. Right? And then they're taking more shots. I mean, James Harden is, and then Russell Westbrook's the same way. They're just marching it up and taking the shots. You know what I mean? They might pass and get the ball right back to shoot, you know?
Yeah.
So what would you say about that? I mean, the game's just changing. It's actually a good game to me. I love the Rockets, the way the Rockets play. I don't like the fouls, right? And James Harden is getting fouled when he's drawing them. Okay. But I wish...
What do you mean, the ticky-tack fouls?
Well, to me, they're not ticky-tack fouls. To me, he's just smart. He's drawing them. I just think the rules need to be changed.
Well, he's playing like
it's not Vlade Divac level.
But he's flopping sometimes or just being weird.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, dude. But Messi, there's a video of Messi flopping.
Yeah, I know.
He's not known as a flopper. You know, like he's getting the majority of time. Harden's getting fouled. That's what I want to tell you. He just knows how to draw them even better than Kobe did. Kobe was good at drawing too. He does it all the time.
Every foul.
Yeah, they just need to change the rules. I think the step back should be by the rules. His step back three is not a travel, and then they adjusted the rules in the off season to make it clear it wasn't a travel.
He changed his move, right?
He didn't change it. No. They adjusted the rules to make it more clear that what he did is not a travel. But I think it should be a travel. I think the Euro step should be a travel. So that's what I think. But he knows the rules so well.
Yeah.
He's such a smart player. He knows the rules so well that he'll make these evolutionary moves to it, and people can't stop it. So he's a smart player. For him, though, what you need to do is change the rules.
He's doing like the Dirk moves that can't be blocked, or it's like you can't stop. Maybe as far as Dirk's fadeaway was like you can't stop it.
I mean, why are you saying Dirk and not Olajuwon? That's the original.
I'm just saying
that's the original fadeaway you couldn't stop.
I mean, that's true. But Dirk's is a little different than that. I mean, his is a little different move than like Olajuwon was more of a turnaround fadeaway.
Yeah,
Dirk's is like just back, and it's a little different.
No, it is a lot different. And then Olajuwon's fadeaway was so good that he would use it as a move to get past the guy and get a dunk in.
And I also feel his is more from the side.
Oh yeah,
I feel like I always saw him shoot from the side.
Yeah, he did a lot of baseline shooting. That's why I think Olajuwon would in today's game, Olajuwon would have had a 3-pointer and maybe even been a power forward because he had good control too.
And he could run good for a center.
Oh yeah, he had steals.
So
he's one of the few quadruple doubles in the history of the game. So he had steals too. So if Olajuwon was playing today, I guarantee you he would have a 3-point shot. If Anthony Davis has a 3-point shot, Olajuwon had a 3-point shot without a doubt.
Yeah,
he was also shooting baseline. 20-footers baseline, so he only had to take a step or two back.
But it's just hard to place players. Like if Larry Bird was playing today, he'd be scoring 60, 70 a game.
No.
And so would Jordan.
No.
Jordan would be scoring, he would average 65 a game, 70 a game. Yes, he would.
No.
Because
that's just a preposterous statement.
Because all the offensive, they play so much more offense now, and so the fouls, he'd be
I'm not saying he wouldn't be great and incredible in this, but what you just said was just out of hand.
The defense was a lot better then. Now, if you gave Jordan free,
you just said
free
65-70.
Yeah.
No, dude.
Now,
get out of here.
If you give Jordan free play now,
Jordan is not twice as better offensively as James Harden. He's better. He's not twice as better.
Just the way they play now, he would be killing the league. How did you not know that?
I'm not saying he wouldn't. I'm saying what you just said. 70 points a game is the
that's just, I'm just saying.
We'll talk seriously.
I'm just saying he would just.
If Harden is averaging 32, Jordan would be averaging 38. No. And he would have more 60-point games. I agree with that.
Jordan basically averaged 38 back then. I mean, what was he at, 32, 33?
No. He was more at like the high 20s.
A game?
Yeah.
No, that's surprising.
It's not surprising because
But that's how it was back then.
You remember Jordan as a kid.
No, but
We've had this conversation.
That's how it was back then, though. The defense.
I don't want to talk about Jordan. I don't want to talk about Tom Brady
the defense back then and the possessions and the scoring was way down, so you're not going to average as much.
It's way
But what I'm saying now, he would be scoring way more.
Now he would be great. I agree with that. You just said 70 points.
Yeah, but I was just saying he would be dominated. Just like Larry Bird would be dominated right now.
I mean, Larry Bird would have the same back problems. It's not like he was getting back problems because people airballing in the back. No, he played in a harder time, but his body couldn't handle it.
Yeah, but they also have...
If your body can't handle it, your body can't.
The bodies are different these days.
You're saying with today's medicine?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. Today they're eating better. They're taking different medicine.
I love Larry Bird, but he's not in my top 10.
But that's why it's hard to say generations.
It is tough to say,
because the bodies are way different. So
Kevin McHale was this great player. Could he play in the league today? No, because he was a rough player. He was a hard, rough player. Kevin McHale wouldn't even have a spot in this league today.
Well, he would change it. He would have to change a little bit.
If he could, we don't know if he could. And some of these players, we don't know if they could just play harder if the rule said so. You pretend like they wouldn't. So James Harden, he wouldn't have a 39-point game, but he's still a great scorer and smart. He would adapt. All his step back threes and him drawing fouls are because he knows the rules so well he can adapt to them. He's just a smart player. He knows how to do it.
Every player, but
yeah,
I don't know.
He may even be better.
What, playing then?
He may. Maybe not like stats wise, but everyone's stats are up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
here's what I'm sick of. Because you and I are the same age. We're getting older now. We're getting to that age where we're set in our ways. What I'm really sick of is, and I've never liked my whole life, and I still don't, even as I'm getting older and pushing 40, almost 40, couple years, is back in my day. Fuck back in my day. A lot of these players would be great then. You know?
Dude, the Greek Freak would be awesome anytime.
Yeah. Harden is a smart player.
It's just like saying, how would Shaq play in like the 60s, 70s? He'd be killing them.
Yeah. There's just too many variables, dude. So I just don't like the back in my day and the grumpy old man
Shaq at 3-something dunking and all those little dudes like in the 60s or 70s.
Yes. I agree 100%.
Just because he was like Bill Russell, but twice as powerful.
Yeah. So, you know what's funny is that, we did talk about Kawhi last time, so... let's just leave it at that. It was just a nice little sports conversation. The baby in the background. I like having the sports conversations. This is, by the way I want. If we do live streams, this is the way I want them. Let's just have a sports conversation.
That's the segment. Just called sports conversation.
So much stuff. I want everyone to go check out Chaos and Comics. It'll be on the YouTube there, and it'll also be on the feed. The Propaganda Show. We're going to talk Mandalorian. So if you're into Star Wars, we're going to make sure we get that podcast out. There should be a live stream with Wayne tonight. When you set that soda down, don't make a loud ass noise. I bet people heard it.
They had no idea.
There's going to be
they had no idea what I was drinking until you said it.
There's going to be a live. No, you set that soda down a couple times. I sat mine down too. I'm not saying you're the problem. I did it too, but
dude,
the way we had that microphone,
they've already heard. They've heard a trash can being drug across the floor. They've heard a baby yelling, screaming. They've heard dogs barking. They've heard somebody mowing. The last thing they know...
There was a plane going over you.
They had no idea of me setting something down until you just said something before I set it down.
Hey,
or they wouldn't
I'm just
even
a perfectionist, dude. I want it all to be good, and everyone bothers me. They all bother me, you know what I mean?
I guess.
Anyway, we'll probably do a live stream tonight, Tuesday afternoon quarterback with Wayne. We're going to record a show, Mandalorian Episode 1. I already have reviews up, my own reviews on the Chaos and Comics YouTube channel. But I was tired and groggy. Now that you've seen it, we're going to just go back and forth about it. And then just a bunch of other stuff, guys. Just keep in touch. Keep paying attention. At Chris Sarda on Twitter. At Chaotic Sports on Twitter. And we will see you guys later.